again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Run Level 0. This is going to be my first Starship review and build video. With the release of Victory is Life, we have learned that we are going to be receiving a free Tier 5 ship with an upgrade token, so a free Tier 5-U, when our tunes reach level 61. And that got me to wondering about the end-game viability of Tier 5-U ships. Can they compete with the Tier 6? And the short answer is yes. Of course, some ships, some Tier 5-U ships, are better suited than others, and I'll talk about my criteria for that in just a moment. Today, I am on my primary tune. This is Fleet Admiral Jason Nesmith. He is my temporal agent and my original series tune, Starfleet Tactical. And the ship we're talking about today is the Undine Nicor Bio-Warship. This is one of my favorite ships. It's kind of unusual because the weapon layout is a definite cruiser with 4 weapons in the front, 4 weapons in the rear. But it handles more like an escort. As far as the bridge officer layout, the console layout, all of that just screams escort. So this is kind of a hybrid. It does have good hull strength for an escort. So this would be what I would consider more of a frigate or a destroyer class vessel. One of the things that makes the Nicor so desirable, in my opinion, is the fact that it comes with a free upgrade from Tier 5 to Tier 5-U. There are a few out there like that, and you can look those up, but the Nicor comes with that free upgrade, and that's very desirable. Also, and more importantly, after it is upgraded to Tier 5-U, the Undine Nicor Bio-Warship upgrades to have 11 console slots. And that's the same amount of consoles as a Tier 6 ship. So this ship at end game will be competitive with Tier 6 ships. Now the Tier 6 will have an edge, a slight edge, in terms of hull capacity and shield strength. But other than that, the Tier 5-U is a viable ship. This Undine Nicor. This ship is the primary fighting ship of the Undine species, or also referred to as species 8472. It featured heavily in Star Trek Voyager, where it was introduced and nearly wiped out the Borg as a species. So let's take a peek at this ship and see what it has to offer. As far as the ship mastery goes, we get +5 accuracy rating, 15% critical severity, 2.5% crit chance, and 10% bonus to both kinetic and energy weapon damage. Console slots, we get 5 tactical, 4 science, and that's at Tier 5-U. I believe at standard Tier 5 you only have 3 science, but since the upgrade is free, you're going to upgrade right away. And you get 2 engineering. It also comes with 3 device slots. As far as bridge officer layout, it is versatile, and you get the commander tactical, a lieutenant commander science, a lieutenant engineering, and a lieutenant commander universal. So you can really build this if you need more tank. You can drop a engineer in there if you want more science abilities. Obviously drop in a science captain. I think most of us though will go more toward damage and drop in another tactical bridge officer. So let's take a peek at this thing in the Tailor and see what our options are. I do think this is a good looking ship. It definitely has a predatory vibe to it. So you do have some customization options available in the Tailor. I've always liked the look of this ship. It is very predatory looking. So we have the Nicor, which is the default, but we also have the Dactylus, which is available to us as well. There is a custom bridge, and it is the only interior that is available to us. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. As far as windows go, just the Nicor. And materials, we have the Undine Type 1 and the upgraded skin, which gives it a more metallic gold sheen. Look at that. And of course, there are some advanced customization. You can mix and match between the Dactylus and the Nicor however you like. Do some randomizations here. See a few of the options available to us. Kind of like that. All right. There are a few pattern options available as well. Okay, so let's take this ship into space, take a peek at the bridge, and see what the build I have on here is. Okay, so here we are on the bridge of the Undine Nicor. Definitely not a Federation bridge. The Undine are known for having biotechnology, so these ships are actually alive, supposedly. And being that the Undine can run up walls and such, you know, part of the bridge, you can see there's actually bridge stations on the roof, along the sides of the walls. So they would actually be standing in 3 dimensions on their bridge to maximize the usable space. But you have the standard accesses up here. From the captain's chair, you can access your library files. Contact your duty officers. Let's see. Select your small craft and access your account bank. So a very bright space. Hopefully they can tone that down a little bit. But yeah, so you do have a unique bridge, and unique it is. Okay, let's go back to space and take a look at this build. Okay, let's take a look at this ship's build. Now, this is not what I would consider an optimized build at this time. There are a few items that I need to upgrade to, well, many items I need to upgrade to Mark 14 before I'll consider this a finalized build. Now, the ship does come with a unique console. It is the Console Universal Fluidic Energy Focusing Array. As far as damage output, it does good damage, but it is a single click with a 2-minute recharge, and it has no passive ability. So as far as equipping it in a in-game build, I don't have it equipped right now, but let me just say this is a fantastic, fun console to have in game. Basically, it does the Death Star thing where it'll call in 5 other bio-warships and they'll surround your ship. They'll fire a beam into a single point, and then you fire a single anti-proton beam through that. It's a great visual. It's a lot of fun, but in my opinion, it's not really worth the slot in game. Now, for a role play perspective, it's a fun. It is a fun console. But my build right now, I am running anti-proton beam arrays. I would encourage you, if you have a high crit chance, to steer away from the crit D modifiers. I'm going to change mine over to damage ×3 pen with the damage and crit epic modifier. So these still need to be re-engineered a bit, but this build definitely works as is. It's just not what I would consider optimized. So I am running a couple of standard crafted anti-proton beam arrays. I'm running the advanced radiant anti-proton from the Iconian reputation, the crystalline energy torpedo to take full advantage of that anti-proton boost that I have going on. I have one Herald anti-proton beam array, which I may go ahead and switch this out for another crafted one. The advanced temporal defense the advanced temporal defense chronoton beam array for the bridge officer cooldown, and I'm running the two omnis, the crafted omni and the ancient omnidirectional beam arrays. For my devices, I am running the temporal negotiator, and right now we do have the Delta Recruit event that's going on. If you do not have a Delta Recruit, go ahead and make a new tune. It is worth it. That's where you get this particular item from. I am running energy amplifier batteries as well as my red matter capacitor. Another viable alternative for that would be some of your combo batteries, the auxiliary weapons type battery, or even your subspace field modulator for a little more survivability. I am running the House Martok defensive configuration for some bonus hit points, turn rate, and just basically some survivability built in. I am running a conductive RCS accelerator with EPS mod, the tachyokinetic converter, assimilated module, temporal disentanglement suite, bioneural infusion circuits. I would not obviously this is not a budget build. And then 5 anti-proton vulnerability locators. My other equipment, I am running the Elite Fleet Preservation Protomatter Deflector Array, and you get this from your Drunner colony. The reason I'm running this is based on your hull percentage, you get bonus crit severity and crit chance. And it's a good all-around deflector array as well. And I am running the Bajoran 3-piece on top of that. It's a great warp core, good shields, but mostly I am running it for see there are more details. I'm running this for the set bonuses. Now, unfortunately, you may get more out of this if you run a disruptor build, which I do have a disruptor build that I do run on this. So we would get a bonus disruptor damage. We're not getting that on this build because obviously we're running anti-protons. But more importantly, I'm running this for the energy siphoning field range modulation, which increases the range of my siphoning field from 2 to 5 kilometers. And the coronal injection from my shields goes out from 2.5 to 5 kilometers. So it gives me a little bit more damage there. It doesn't do that much damage, but it does enough. As far as my traits go, skill tree, let's see, I am running a TAC Ultimate with some secondary focus on engineering. The traits I am running for space, Ablative Shell, Beam Barrage, Duelist Fervor, Fluidic Cocoon, Good Day to Die, Inspirational Leader, Repair Cruise, Redirected Armor Plating. This is the newer one from the latest featured mission, and Fleet Coordinator. My Starship traits, I am running Emergency Weapons Cycle, Redirecting Arrays to get the most out of my Fire at Will, Supercharged Weapons, Honored Dead, and Cold Hearted. And then we took a slight peek earlier at my bridge officers. And I am running Aux to Bat 1 as well as Emergency Powered Weapons 1. And this primarily for the proc off of my Starship traits that's going to give me. So let's take a look at my status. The stats on this ship with this build, 300% power transfer rate. That's going to keep my energy weapons at peak performance. 71,000 hull. Now for an escort, that's pretty good, especially at Tier 5-U. Good shield regeneration, good hull repair rate, decent shields at 13.9, and again, bear in mind that's at ultra rare. It's not even epic yet, and I'm going to re-engineer this as well to have some better resistance ratings. The resists on this ship, for an escort, they're about average, I would say, a little bit below average, but they are there. This is where it shines. Our accuracy rating is 19.8, 30.9% crit chance, 163.4% crit severity. And this is base for the ship. Remember, when you're looking at these percentages, this is not the final result. This is before you hit stuff like your attack pattern alpha, which will give you another right at 50% crit severity and 5% crit chance. And then weapon-wise, these weapons, the crafted ones at least, have plus 80% crit severity on top of that. So you're just shy of 300% crit severity. And you'll see the effects of that in the build and the replay. Turn rate is 40.9 degrees per second turn, and that's with this build, and a flight speed of 35.88. This ship handles like a dream. It turns on a dime, and for a beam escort, it is lots of fun to play. So how effective is this ship in combat? Well, let's slide into a Pug ISA and see for ourselves. Be right back. Well, that was fun. All right. So you can see from the Parse, 69,000, just shy of 70,000 DPS. That was not an optimal run. I did fall out of combat there a couple of times, and that hurt my DPS a bit. So I could have gotten, maybe 75,000 out of that run. On a non-optimized anti-proton build, are Tier 5-U ships viable in game? Absolutely. What about the Undine Nicor? This is one of my favorite ships still. At Tier 5-U, this is still one of my favorite ships. This ship is an absolute beast. It's a lot of fun to play. Right now, you can pick them up on the exchange for 10 million EC. Folks, you can do that in your sleep. I picked it up. I picked up another one for an alt this past weekend, and they were down to just over 7 million EC. So if you keep an eye on the exchange, you can pick these up dirt cheap, especially if you're playing on an alt, even on one of your primaries. This is just a very, very fun ship to fly. I hope you give it a try, give it a chance. I'm sure you'll like it. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.